And hello, everybody. Hello, Esitsu. Wonderful to see you. And hello, Vincent. Wonderful to see you as well. It is 2 o'clock where I live. This is Nick McPhee. This is Unhindered by Coding. Be here for 2 hours. Programming in Rust. Doing puzzles. Stuff. I am currently broadcasting live from the basement of my sister's house. So I hope everything will work out reasonably well. Definitely let me know if there are issues on your end. So I figured we'll pick up where we left off on Saturday last week. We had been working on the Codyssi puzzles, and we had done part 1 of problem 1 and had implemented a iterator processor that processed iterators over options in sort of a nice way. And I figure we'll just press on with that and see where that takes us. So let's see. I need boop-a-doo. And if we go to the problem statement, which I'm apparently not at. Okay, let's go back here. Also difficulty rating 1, so should be pretty straightforward. And it is, actually. Reading through all the text, it really comes down to this set of symbols needs to be processed in reverse order. That's it. So I think we can just insert a .rev somewhere in an iterator chain, and it will do exactly what we want. And that it will be that easy because of the setup the first time. So, which is a nice use of iterators in that regard. So the one thing we have to be careful about is, let's see, do we even have to care? Yeah, so we had inserted a plus, because the very first thing is your initial compass offset, and it doesn't have a corresponding symbol. And so we had just inserted a plus here at the beginning. And now that plus still needs to be at the beginning, but it needs to be added after we've reversed everything else. So we need to reverse all of this so that these first 2 pluses go with the 1 and the 5, etc. And so either stick a plus at the end and reverse, or reverse and then stick a plus at the front. But this should not be hard. So let's do that quick. Find my code. So this is the same code as from last week. And compute offset reads the input, converts it to lines. Next back gives us the last thing in the iterator. So lines is an iterator over the lines in the file. And this gives us the last thing, which is the string with all the pluses and the minuses in it. And values is what we get by parsing all the numbers in the other lines. Then we have to convert signs to be... so here's where we insert a plus followed by this iterator, and this is where we want to reverse. So I'm in the right one, yeah. So rev. So I think that will take that last line, turn it into an iterator over characters, and then reverse. Oops. That would have been bad. And then reverse that iterator, stick the plus in front of it, and then we map across to turn those into plus and minus 1. And then we zip the signs and the values together, multiply the sign by the value, and this is where we were using our little processor thing. Sign is going to be an option. It'll be some if there was a plus or a minus. It'll be a none otherwise. Value is an option because we might fail to parse, and we turned results from the parsing into just okay. So it's going to be sum with the number that we parsed if it parsed successfully, and none otherwise. And so this question marks out if either of these failed. Otherwise, we multiply them together, put them in a sum, and then process options sums up all of those products and returns that as an option. And so this returns an option, blah, blah, blah. So so I think actually literally all we had to do was add this .rev right here. And I think we should actually solve the problem. But we will find out. We can first check down here in the test, because I updated this to be the expected value for the second part. So let's run that test and see if we pass. So that's a good sign. And I think we can now run this and probably get the right answer. So it says the final offset is minus 96. Copy that. Boop, 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 boop. And minus 96. Did it work? Yay! So we did part 2. Let's commit quick, because I'll forget if I'm not careful. So that was literally just, so solve part 2 of problem 1. This involved just inserting a .rev in the correct place in the iterator. So that was super easy. Ba-doom. And then I need to copy that and make a new file, problem1 part3.rs. And then let's go find out what part 3 is. Ooh, difficult rating 2. We've moved up 1. So you've taken a step in the right direction, but the navigation system still seems a little defective. Whatever caused this issue, it better not be another missed instruction. Oh, would you look at that? Another team member spots another instruction that you somehow missed. They know me too well. The initial compass offset and all corrections are meant to be 2-digit numbers. The instruction states that the readings are represented by the 2 numbers on pairs of consecutive lines. That means that the first reading is represented by lines 1 and 2, so 81. The second is represented by lines 3 and 4, so that'd be 55, etc. So for each pair of lines, the first number represents the tens digit of the reading, and the second number represents the ones digit of the reading. This means you won't use all the symbols in the file. So the initial compass reading is 81, and then 55, 76, 54, and 31. Oh, you won't use all the symbols. That's this part down here. And so we continue with the reverse business. So the plus goes with the 55, and this plus goes with the 76, and then this minus goes with the 54. Yeah, okay. So we need to keep the symbols in reverse order. We will ignore the back half of the symbols now. And we have to pair up the lines and process them in the right way. So I think, I'm in browser. I have so many tabs open. Terrible. Docs.rs. Well, I'll just go standard. La 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 la. So I think chunks. Does chunks not do? Oh, here we go. Array chunks. Huh. And that's nightly only, so that doesn't do us any good. So we don't get to do chunks on iterators. Why do I feel like we've had this problem before and there was a solution and I don't remember what the solution was? Itertools, okay, which docs.rs itertools. Itertools always has all the toys. Chunks. Look at that. Yep. So itertools will give us the chunks that we want. So we can chunk the lines using chunks. That'll give us the pairs. And then for each pair, we will have to parse the two numbers and then convert them into a two-digit number. Now it's interesting that they have the lines are actually single digits, which I hadn't actually noticed that the lines were all single digit numbers. And I wonder if there's a better way to do the parsing than to just parse. Because you could just extract the two characters now. Before we could have skipped the whole. Actually, I expect we could have just gotten the character and parsed it, because it probably parses as an integer. Now we'd have the pair. We have to join them together if we want it to be a string, or we can parse them separately. Not sure what the best option there is. Well, let's contemplate our nibbles. Oh, and actually, let's first cargo add itertools. I don't think I have it. And then let's go back to code. Oh, and actually, they probably tell us way back over here what the test answer is. 189. So this would be 189. 189. So we get the lines, we get the sign strings. So here's where things have to change. So basically it's lines dot chunks or not. Oh, I haven't added it to the cargo. Have I? Cargo double. Yeah, you're right there. Oh, but it won't have imported it. Dot chunks. There we go. Chunks of size 2. So we're going to get chunks of size 2. Now that's going to give us 2 strings. We have to somehow turn those 2 strings into a number. I don't know what my best bet there is. I could just parse them both separately and then do 10 times the first plus the second. In which case, actually, the chunk... Oh, maybe that's the thing to do. Put the chunking here. So parse everybody first. And then question mark. And... Actually, question mark? No, I want these guys to be No, I want a question mark inside the, so chunks to, so at this point I'm going to have chunks of numbers wrapped in some, S-O-M-E, and so I'm going to want to map that and a chunk is an iterator? What is a chunk? A chunk is an iterator. Okay. So I have to iterate over the pieces. Not an iterator. Returns an iterable. Yeah, the element type is chunk, which is the iterator over the items in that chunk, right? Nathaniel says not an iterator, but I think. Oh, actually tuple windows. Would that be better? Because then we would be able to specify the, but no, because those are overlapping. I don't want overlapping. So is there going to be tuples? Tuples actually would be very nice. Oh, it returns an into iterator, not an iterator. But it's a chunk type. And I don't know what I can do with a chunk. But actually, I think that the tuple is the better option anyway, because a chunk is an iterator. Yeah, that's what I thought. So maybe we're talking past each other. I was thinking that the chunk was an iterator, and that was the part that I was figuring out how to access the pieces. But I think the tuples actually would be nicer, because then I'm just going to get these pairs, and that would be, yeah, that would be pretty nifty, I think. Gotcha. So you'd have to call into iter to be able to iterate over that chunk. Yeah. Whereas if I have the tuple, then I won't have to worry about that. I will have to have either this type hint or some kind of for action for it to know how big I want the tuples to be. That's mildly annoying, but not the end of the world. But I think if I could just turn it into pairs, that'll be simpler, because then I'll just have the two pieces. So if I actually say this, steal that, and where am I? Okay, so I map, I parse. Instead of chunks, I don't want chunks. I want tuples with a single, I'm going to pair, dot, map, we'll say XY, because I don't have anything clever to say there. 10 times X question mark plus Y question mark. Put a sum around that. And then I need to make that, yeah, I can just leave that as an iterator because that's the whole point, is then we'll zip. So that is an iterator over options of I32. Okay. So I think this is gonna work. So lines, map parsing across every line. So we'll try to parse every line into a number, and then if that parsing fails, we'll end up with a none. Otherwise, we'll have a sum with the value. Then we'll split that up into pairs, and then we'll map across each pair. And each of these is an option, so we'll question mark to get out of the option and multiply 10 times the first plus the second. Wrap that in a sum, and I think we'll be good. And the rest of the problem, I think, is the same now, because we just need to put a plus at the front of the list for the initial offset, and then we'll chain in the reverse of the symbols. And then everything else, I think, should stay the same. Fingers crossed. Let's run the little test and see if that works. Doob-a-doob-a-doo, boop. Hey, it does. Nice. Yeah, and so if I had stuck with chunks, then I would have had to get the two things out of the chunk, I would have needed some sort of iteration to process these two pieces. And that would have worked, but would have been kind of annoying to have an little iterator over two things inside of there. Whereas just having the pairs here worked very nicely. So I think that was a good plan. So thank you to Nathaniel for the help there. So then let's actually run the whole thing and see if we get the right answer on the whole thing. Minus 512. This is what I want. Yeah. 512. Go little thing. Yes! Woo! We've solved all three parts of the problem. Let us commit our exciting solution. Oh, I should have, I always forget to do this. I should have committed before I made changes, because now seeing what we did is almost impossible. Curve. Yeah. So it's all really in values. Boom. Solve part 3 of problem 1. The changes from part 2 are all in the variable values in compute offset. I used tuples, let's say itertools, tuples, thanks to Nathaniel Bumbo at Twitch for reminding me that the things I wanted were in itertools. Yeah, I always struggle a little bit. It's like, part of me I should put itertools in everything and then just plan on using it. And then there are other times I feel like, maybe I should try to avoid that and not add that dependency. But yeah, I need it like quite often. So a little annoying, but we'll live. So blurp. Yeah, so I wanted to finish this sentence. I used itertools, tuples to to pair up the lines, which work nicely. Yeah, I think that's about all I got to say there. That one, boink. Okay, so, yeah, what is... Go from here. Epilogue. You enter the actual compass offset of the vehicle and it starts driving. The navigation module is working properly now. As your team begins to chat, you make a mental note to yourself to read the instructions very, very carefully in the future. Something I'm not good at. And there were the answers. And so where do you go from here? Like, there should clearly be a button here that's like, go to the next problem. But there is not a button here that does that. That's annoying. If we go back to challenges, do I have to come back here? Yeah, that's weird. They should have a button that just takes you to absurd arithmetic. Huh. So actually I'm curious. Okay, so this is unlocked, but oh, that's unlocked. Are they all unlocked? Are there no locked problems? Weird. Huh. Yes, exactly, since that's definitely not true. So why are these all unlocked? That's very strange. And then, so they do get more difficult as you move along. Not very fast, but so we had 1, 1, 2, and now we'll have 1, 2, 2 in absurd arithmetic. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this looks like probably a crate stacking problem again. Huh. Well, let's open up to absurd arithmetic and we'll see where we end up. Oh, maybe. So maybe it is just a matter of the date has passed and so they're all available. That's possible. Which implies that you could do them in any order. Which I think that's true for Advent of Code. I don't think you have to do them in order. I think I just have been out of habit. So, okay. And so if we find some of these to be, a little too boring, we could always skip ahead to some of the more complicated ones and see what we get. But we'll start with this. Also, I guess if we can look at all of them, one of the things we can do is make sure we avoid problems that are like 90% parsing if we don't want to do endless parsing. Or I could even do some parsing offline, although I probably wouldn't bother. Okay, so what is this problem? You and your team are now on course to the seaside. It's getting pretty late though, so why not rest? After all, you'll probably need it. You arrive at the nearest hotel. You walk in and registration goes quite well. Well, up until the peculiar payment process. The hotel accepts normal currency, but they calculate their prices in exponentialis pecunia. Oddly, its exchange rate to standard currencies increases exponentially. Why would anyone ever use this? Don't worry, we have a machine that converts from exponentialis pecunia to standard currency. I just need the book of room pricings. Here it is. Wait, it's not here. Oh no. The clerk has lost her pricing book. You'll have to help her calculate the room prices. There are 3 pricing functions. Maybe these are the 3 parts. Used to calculate room prices. To calculate the price of a room, you start with the quality of the room. First apply function C, then function B, and then function A. The resulting value is the one-night price of the room in exponentialis pecunia. To figure out if you'll have enough money to stay for the night, a good point to start would be to consider the median quality room. You remind yourself that the median is the middle value in a sorted list. For example, consider the following list with 11 room qualities and 3 different pricing functions. Oh, this looks kind of gross, actually. Although, if it's the same input, yeah, we'll have to look at the input, because you could just hack the function part and not bother parsing it, and only parse the numbers. So we have function A is you add 495, function B is you multiply 53, function C is you raise to the power of 3, and here's a bunch of room qualities. For these room qualities, the median quality is 5496. Applying function C, you get a big number. Applying function B, you get another big number. Finally, applying function A, you get another big number. So the one night price of the median quality room in exponent is that big number. Consider the list of 101 room qualities and the 3 pricing functions given to you. What is the one night price of the median quality room? So what does an input look like? Boom. Okay, so these are fixed. So rather than parsing these, I think we just read these as human beings and cook them in, because if it's like the previous problem, it's the same input for all 3 parts. So there's not really any value in sort of building some complicated parsing system to handle this. I could be wrong. It might be different, but if I'm right, then there's not any point in worrying. And is adding 362 ever going to be more than the other 2 on 4-digit numbers? I doubt it. Seems, almost can't be. Because adding 362 is going to be a much smaller change. So I think maybe, so because we have to apply all 3 of these things. So we apply C, and then this is the input to B, which is then the input to A. Yeah. So I think we just run these things. We do the power of 3, then we multiply by 55, and then we add, in this case, 495. We do find the median, and then we do that stuff. Oh, I guess the one thing that's mildly annoying is if I want my code to be able to do this test case and do the actual problem statement, I'm going to have to figure out sort of how to deal with these numbers, because they're different for the test case and the actual problem. I could just take the last word in each line to be the thing to add, the thing to multiply, and the power, because those are, the functions are the same, add, multiply, and power. So I could parse as far as getting the last word from each of those lines. And then that would be fairly general and would handle both the 2 different inputs that way. And then, we take the median. And I don't know, is our best bet to just sort and take the middle? Or is there some better algorithm for finding medians? I feel like you're finding that sorting and taking the middle is about as good as you can do. Is there a better way to find a median value than just sorting? Oh. Selection out. Okay. Quick select. Use a divide and conquer approach to efficiently find the kth smallest element in an unsorted array. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if there is... well, yes, clearly sorting 101 items, you're completely right, should be super easy. But I'm just curious if there's... well, median. Fast new algorithm computing median of one-dimensional algorithms. Algorithms for defining medians. Odd median of a slice of U8 or U64. So you give it a slice of U64 and you get back a U64. Well, that's not much in the way of documentation to help us out. What does this guy look like? Of an efficient order n median filter. Crates. That is our crate. Nah. This is... yeah, I think we'll just sort. I think this, I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be. We'll just sort and take the middle. Shouldn't be hard. Okay, so, woof, ba-doomp. I guess I'm going to need this. And boom. And I need to set the input problem2.text bloof. And somehow it ended up with a blank space at the beginning of that. And I want to grab this and input new file problem2 test.txt. Boom. Okay. And then I need new file problem2 part1.rs. Doink. Okay. Fun main. And actually I'm going to steal I'm going to steal this because I'm lazy. If I can steal things, I will. So it's problem 2. And what are we computing? I forget what they call it. This is the, oh, the price, the median price. So median price, the price for a median quality room was median price. Boop, 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 boop. And so fun median price is going to take a string input. Oh man, wrong syntax. input string, and we'll return U64 to bang. There aren't any negative numbers that we need to worry about. Qualities are all yeah, so everybody's positive. So that's going to be pretty straightforward. And why are we? Because I didn't do that right. Oh, it's a string slice. Of course it is. Why would it be a string? It would make far more sense to have it be a string slice. And, oh, this is going to be a sum. Oh, it's not a sum. It's an option. What am I doing? Option. Boom. There we go. Okay. So we want to get lines. Let lines be input.lines. And then we're going to want to get the first 3 lines. We're going to want to skip a line, and then we're going to parse the rest of the lines as numbers. So let, say parameters be lines.take, hello? Lines dot, oh, it's because I said line instead of lines. That'll work better. Lines dot take 3. For each one, I'm going to map for the line, the string S. I want to split on split ASCII white space, and I want to take last, and I want to parse. And I want to say okay. I probably need to tell it what I want to parse it as, U64. Boom, bop. That might be, last could return an okay. So I need a question mark here. There we go. Now, do I have any reason to keep that as an iterator? Not really. Although I could next my way through them to get the parameters out instead of collecting them into a vector and get the parameters out. But actually, I think I'd be just as happy collecting them in this instance. Because I'm going to need to store them somewhere, and I might as well store them in a vector, frankly. But they're options still. So I want to can I do option vec? Aha, I can. Then I can question mark out of that. Bingo! Vec of U64s. Awesome. I'm not sure I've ever collected an option like that. done collect result a lot. Maybe I have collected option. Who knows? My memory is so bad for these kinds of things, but I don't immediately, doesn't immediately come to mind. Okay, so parameters is now a thing. We can use that to do our functions. So now we want to skip a line. Dot. Just take next, I guess. Drop the blank line. Oh, I didn't say mute. Mute. Or I could drop one. Oh, actually, did take remove things? Because I need it to remove things. Oops. So what does the iterator look like? I don't know. I assume take does the right thing, but you know, actually now I'm not sure. Boom, here's iterator. Take. Creates an iterator that yields the first n elements. But it's not obvious to me if it affects the original iterator. Oh, it consumes the original iterator. So I don't have access to the original iterator anymore. Well, that's interesting and slightly annoying. Huh. So yeah, so that's why it's complaining here is we moved this into this take took ownership of this iterator, and so we don't have access to that anymore. So is there like a split or something that would be better? Like a take drop. I wonder if that's in itertools. Again, I'm probably in the wrong place. Take. Take while inclusive. No. Oh, I swear I've seen something that does this. Some kind of like split or zip, take, skip. Well, I could always just get lines again and skip 4, but that seems not great. If I've already made the iterator, it'd be nice to, what does partition do? Ah, consumes an iterator creating two collections from it. Oh, but that's a predicate. I don't want a predicate. I'm not doing that kind of partitioning. Grumpity, grumpity, grumpity. Esitsu. Lines by ref. Oh, so that would give us a reference. I'm there. So essentially, it clones the iterator, and then, well, actually, is that what's going on there? So what is byref going to do for us here? Byref. So we have a iterator byref. Oh, is that? Oh, it's right there. Creates a by-reference adapter for this instance of iterator. I'm sure you've told me about this before, Esitsu. Thank you for your patience. Consuming method calls on the by-reference adapter will consume the original iterator, but ownership-taking methods, those with self-parameter, only take ownership of the by-reference iterator. This is useful for applying ownership-taking methods, such as take, without giving up ownership of the original iterator, so you can use the original iterator afterwards. So we have words, hello world of Rust, words byref take two, and then words has now been advanced forward 2 spaces. Which is exactly what we want. Thank you, Esitsu. That is exactly what we're after. So we want byref take, and then the take will move us forward. And I presume that consuming methods on the by-reference adapter will consume the original iterator. So I think I can still take next and move forward 1. I don't know, let's find out. So input dot lines, let's see, right here we want byref. Lines dot byref. Yes. And now that works. Haha, good job. And then I can, because next doesn't return anything, right? Next, well, it returns the next value, and I don't care about the next value. So now I would say lines dot map s dot parse as a U64 dot okay, and then I'm going to want to so then I've got a bunch of options of U64, and I really just want to collect those into option vec question mark semicolon, or not. What did I do wrong? Oh, I'm missing a angle bracket. There we go. Okay. Hey. Oh, I guess it would help if I let qualities equal that. Awesome. So now we have a vector of U64, which are the qualities. Those we can sort. And actually, can I do a sort here? Sorted sorted an iterator into a new iterator in ascending order. Good. Well, that'd be fine. And so now we have a sorted vector of qualities. In fact, I'm going to call it sorted qualities. And then sorted qualities dot get sorted qualities dot length divided by 2. Is that going to be right? So if there's 3 things, 0, 1, 2, 3 divided by 2 is going to be 1. Yeah, so I think that's right. And voila, we get a U64. And now we just have to do the math. And the math says we, back over here, I'm actually going to steal this and put a comment. The parameters will be the values corresponding to the last word in each of these lines. Boom. Oops, undo. And we apply these functions. Oh, come on. We apply these functions in reverse order. C, then B, then A. Boom. Okay. So now we want to raise middle to the 3rd power, multiply by 55, and add 495. So it's actually parameters 0. I guess we could assert that the length of parameters is 3, so that I don't have to worry about this. So parameters 0 plus parameters 1 times, do I invoke some power function or just multiply 3 times or twice? Oh, I have to invoke something because the power thing could be something other than 3, although I think it was 3, right? In both cases. Yeah, it's 3 in both cases, but I probably don't want to just assume that. So I probably need to do some kind of power. So middle dot pow. Ah, there's pow. Look at you, pow. Parameters 2. And actually, I don't need the to do anymore because I'm going to have a number there. We're going to be done. Okay. Cannot. I think that's pow wanted a U32, and I gave it a U64. So I could be really brutal and just say it's U32. Oh, and that needs to be a sum around all of that. And it's grumpy. Yeah, fine. I understand. In fact, I could do a try from and that would give me an option type, which isn't a terrible plan, actually. And, oh, it gives me a result. Well, we could fix that. So let's see, I want try from goes there. I could say, okay, question mark, boom. Ha-ha, nifty. So the try from attempts to convert our third parameter into a U32. That returns a result type. If that result was an error, then this okay would turn it into a none, and we would question mark out, and we would get a none here. If that were a sum, no, an okay, then this would convert that okay into a sum, and we'd be fine. And then the question mark would extract the value. So that would work. So I think that would do a thing. Now, CFG test mod test fun test input. So I basically want this, but with the test case. Problem 2 test, and I need to import that from above. Let's call it super, and then we don't want to print, we want to assert eek bang median price to be, what is the expected value? It is this big thing here. Boom. Bop. And yes, that is lacking useful breaks, isn't it? Let's fix that. There we go. Run the test. Does it work? Yes! Good job. We solved the test case. Now, does the main thing work? Boom. It's that big number. And let me... Yeah, we'll stick it in over here first and then see if it worked. Don't want the period. And submit. Yes! So clearly just sorting and taking the middle was fine. I'm sure that there would be ways we could have avoided that, but now I do want to add a test for test actual input, and I'm going to just make a copy of that for a second, and then grab all this and put that in there and put this here and get rid of test here, get rid of that line. It's going to be grumpy, understandably so. Boom, bop. Does that work? Yes, it does. Awesome. Let us commit. So this was, these two are just putting test inputs in. Add inputs for problem 2. Boop. Solve problem part 1 of problem 2. Solution assumes the functions have that very specific form in the first 3 lines, but is otherwise fairly general. We computed the median by sorting and taking the middle value when there are ON solutions to the problem of finding the median. On 101 input numbers, though, there's no real reason to worry about the performance of sorting. Zada. Okay, and now we want to copy over, copy, paste, there we go, part 2. And I want to commit this time. Copy part 1 to part 2 of problem 2. And that way I will actually know what I changed. Okay, so what is the next problem? We converted normal currency. That actually seems quite cheap. I guess it's a pretty big number to me. The hotel charges extra fees for booking more than one room. That seems weird. To calculate the total one night price for many rooms, you first sum all the room's qualities. Then you apply C, B, and A. To get a very, very generous upper bound estimate of the total price for your team, you decide to calculate the total price of booking all of the rooms with even numbered qualities for one night. Okay, so we just have to filter so that we only have the even numbered ones. We add them up and we run the same thing. So this is clearly not going to be hard. So we can just zip through this, I think. Yeah, so we just need to, same parameters. We don't need to sort anymore, right? We just need to get all the even numbered rooms. So we don't need the sorting. We just need to filter Q mod 2 is 0. And, I guess we could have done filter map with that actually and done it in one thing. And then we just add them up, right? So instead of collect here, we would just say sum. Except, oh, that's where we need our process options thing. So we actually, if we're going to keep doing option, having our process options thing from before in a more generally available place wouldn't be a bad thing, because we're going to want it again here. And that would be question mark and, oh, no, that's not going to work because filter needs, well, hello, Eustace. Wonderful to see you. Filter's going to need those to be Booleans. So I think we're going to want Yes, well, time is a challenging concept. I totally understand. Um, hmm. Well, I guess these aren't sorted qualities. These are even sum of even qualities. So Q. So the goal is to filter out the evens. I keep the evens and add them up. But my values are options from before. So I guess actually we want filter map XX. Oh, filter map and then filter. I'm with you. So filter map returns it, basically ignores anything that wasn't a sum. So that basically is just going to get rid of all the non. There you go. Yeah, okay. Sure. And then, well, right. I ought to be able to take the map and the filter map. Oh, yeah, right. Because if I just make this filter map, and then lose the next line. Oh, what have I done? Help. Then I get an iterator over U64s. But I don't return a none if any of these return to none. That's the problem with the filter map, is it just swallows all the ones that fail instead of returning a none there, which is that isn't really awesome. Is this for class? One presumes that you're implementing the stupidest dynamic array implementation, or is this just something you're doing for fun? Yeah, for class. Yeah, I think process options. I mean, we bothered writing this thing. I think we should use it. Which means I'm going to have to do some rearranging because it's not going to be visible at the moment. But, okay, so we would... do I want to process options before the filter? Yeah, so yeah, so I want process options, but of course that won't exist yet. And maybe, let's see, maybe before we go any farther, let's actually put process options in a useful place, because I think that's going to be important. Of course, I've implemented it 18 times. Yeah, the is none or blah blah blah, and that seems like a lot. Okay, so so the structure here is I'm going to need a new folder here, and that's lib, I think. And inside of lib, I'm basically going to want the nicer tools and the process options stuff. Yes. So I want lib, new file. Now is nicer tools. Oh, well, I'm not sure if we're using num's a crate, right? And we don't have that in, but dot is even would be very nice. Would certainly be better readability. So we should come back to that. So I want this. No, I want, yes, I want these two things. To be in nicer tools. I'm sure history as much as anything else, right? That's all. That's the answer to almost everything is, history. Okay, so new file, nicer tools.rs, boom. And then we're going to want process options. It's going to be this part. Boom. 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 New file. Process options.rs. Boom. Boop, bop. Okay. So we got those two guys. And now I have to create some sort of, is it lib.rs, mod.rs? I never remember. Rust project structure. Package. Is that what I want? Yeah. Source. Lib. Oh, it's not a directory lib. It's lib.rs. And then you just plop stuff in next to it. I always get that wrong. So we want and that's in adjacent to bin. Yeah, so we want a lib.rs, new file, lib.rs, and these guys actually come out to this level. Yes, move. And this directory goes away, delete, move to trash. And then I think this says mod knicker tools and mod process options. And that now needs to be an import probably. Oh, and I didn't make everything public. Got it. So they didn't need to be public before, but now they do. Process options needs to be pub. And now we can import that. And, oh, those need to be public too, or I need to create a constructor. Probably, I don't know if it matters. Um, so the process options structure is here, and the trait is in the nicer tools crate. So process options is here, but I didn't make the fields public. So when it tries to oh, that probably makes sense, actually. That probably does make sense to have a submodule, doesn't it? Since, yes, because they don't only make sense together. So let's see, I could do this. No, that was a bad idea. No, that was a fine idea. So nicer tools like that. And then move these two guys in here. And then lib actually really is just this. And oh, I don't have the mod. That's why it's grumpy. And then I need a mod in here. Mod.rs. And that's going to have oh yeah, probably pub mod. Thank you. Yes. Delete you, go away. Yep. Rename you. Rename, there we are. Come on. Mod.rs. Yes. And then this is going to have to, let's lose you for a second. This will also have to say mod process tool, process options. And then this will be that. Yeah. Oh, that's, yes, right. I could have selected everything and renamed, and it would have done that for you. Oh, well. I like having the mod at the top. And why does it need to be pub use? What would be the advantage there? Oh, because we need the process options. No, actually, because you really, all you need is this method, and that's going to be in nicer tools. So I don't know why you would need the pub. Oh. So we're going to need access to this struct. Okay. And should I just make the fields pub, or should I make a constructor? Yeah, right. We have to pass a capital P process options to little p process options. Yeah. Okay. The ideal way would be to create a fun process options in process options and call that from the trait impl. Hello, Wagafa. Wonderful to see you. Create a function process options in process options. So, like, oh, so like impl that, impl process options, it wouldn't even be, you would just have it as literally a free floating function. So function process options like that. That's what you're thinking. Oh, come on. Oh, stop it. That would return a process options. Copy the signature from the trait impl. Oh, that's, I mean, here. I think. Copy this function over there. 22, yeah. So copy this stuff over here. Boom. Oh yeah, so actually if I just do that. Add a generic I for the iterator. And here, this becomes the I. And then that would mean I has to be an iterator over T. And then this becomes I. And I got one too many closing curly braces there. Oh, and that would be I. Does this need to be a pub? Otherwise, that function is private to this module? But don't re-export it from mod. So we'll use it in mod, but we won't re-export it. Okay, so let me make sure I understand what I've done. So process options is generic in half of the world. F, which is the function we use to process things. T, which is the type of the things that are wrapped. R, which is the result type. And I, which is the iterator over the option values. And we set up found none to be false initially. We create a process options, which has this internal iterator, which is I. I don't really like that name now that I'm sort of thinking about it. Internal iterator. And found none is a mutable reference to this found none. We call processor of process options, where processor was the function, and that gives us the result. And if any of those were a none, we return a none, otherwise we return a sum. And then over in mod, we pass we would just call process options, that one, and internal iterator is self, and processor is processor, and that should take care of it, right? Woohoo! Awesome. Nice. Okay. So this was pub. So it was available here when we needed it. Or here when we needed it. But since we're not pub using it, it's not visible outside because it doesn't need to be. Yeah. Okay. So that's not a bad idea. Let's try to get this problem done, and then I think that would be nice cleanup. I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so there's a whole lot of change in the world. Now, if we go back to our friend here, then process options, and then we have to have our processor. Haha, cool. So it found it, and that's good. And our processor is a closure that takes a, oh, yeah, that's right. That takes an so yeah, so this is an iterator over the appropriate things, and then we can use it. So this is an iterator, and we want to say, what do we want to do here? We basically want to, yes, we just want to actually say, do the filter and sum in here. Gotcha. We got to come back to the even problem in a second. Question mark, semicolon. Good, yay. And then this just goes here. No, that is totally not true. That goes here. Hello, you go there. And then this just disappears because that no longer is relevant. Sure. Yeah. So I just put it on the variable type, but we could have stuck it here as well. And that would have U64. And then we could get rid of this. Yeah, either way. I think I like it here. Better? Cool. So we parse everybody. That gives us a iterator over option types. So process options gives us an iterator over the internal types, which we can then use to do the filtering and the sum. So we need to see if this works. We need to do bring in dot even and yes, I could have done both, but and then over in process options, yeah, here we need to do implement double-ended iterator, and oh, come on, and implement fused iterator. Okay, so let's see if this works. Oh, did I? Oh, of course, yes, it would be is even. Yeah. Okay, let's see if this actually does a thing. So this is part 2. That implies that the expectation now is this big number. And before Clippy gets around to yelling at us, we'll just fix this. And let's see if that works. Yay, we passed the test. We have an unused import. Fine. Oh, that's an interesting question. It would be kind of nice if it could. So let's see, the price for the even quality rooms. And we'll run that. And we get this big number. And we'll see if that actually is the right answer. Submit. Yay! Okay. The function is still called median price. Oh, you're right. Even quality prices. Right. Hello. Use the tools. Nick, use the tools. Even quality prices. Okay. And is that still? Yes. Let's see if I can. Source action? Nope. Vector? Nope. Quick fix. Consider. Oh, well, that worked. Oh, so the bulb probably would have done it. Yes, consider. Zippity-doo-dah. Nice. So what is the bulb still saying I could do? Oh, inline. Not going to do that. Yay, things pass. So let's commit and then start the cleanup, I think would be a plan, because it's 3:40. Okay, so first thing we did is we pulled process options, extract process options into library code. This allows us to reuse it in complain away in a variety of places. And in fact, really thinking about it, I should change things like, oops, no, I want problem 1, part 1. And actually I want to copy all of that over to code here implements. Okay. I mean, really, that should all be 3 slashes and yada, yada, yada. But, and now I should be able to get rid of all of this here and do some importing action. And lo and behold, that is zippity-doo-dah. And then I should be able to do the same thing for these guys because I just repeated all of that. Because copy paste is easy, if not thoughtful. La 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 la. Quick. Import that. Awesome. And last one. And then I should look at the chat and see what kind of fun complaining is going on. Boom, bop. And import here. Quick fix. Voila. And just for fun, run the tests again. And they pass. Okay, so basically the growth factor is not what you multiply the current capacity with until you reach your requested capacity. But instead, you need to resize the array. When you need to resize the array, you multiply the newly requested capacity with it. So you're deliberately over creating excess capacity. But growth factor 1 is allowed. So if you just add single inserts, you will, you'd reallocate every time. You never get any extra space. Wow. Yeah. Is the growth factor an int value or a floating point value? An int, okay. So you'd have to have at least 2. Interesting. That's very strange. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if anybody's ever complained about it. Or if there's some weird history behind it, because there often is weird history behind things like that. Yeah, but if it's all automatically processed, nobody's going to see the comment. Okay, so oh right, there was the even. We needed to do, because it would be much nicer to say is even here. Is even. And it says, I've never heard of that. So, oh, actually, did I commit after I made those changes? No, I did not. So I need to do that quick. Whoa, that's a whole lot of stuff. Oh, that's actually the solution. So back up. Let's undo that. Put that back where it was so that that still works, right? Test still pass. Yes. Okay, let's, what the previous one was extract that. Let's actually just add that to the extract. And then these others are just move that stuff out. So I'm going to amend that. And then I'm going to say stage. Modify problem one solutions to use shared process options. These all had their own copies of process options, and this cleans that up so they use the new shared version. And then here this is our implementation of even stage. Solve part 2 of problem 2. Pretty straightforward, but we needed to use our process options tool to deal with the parsing results. Boom. Okay. Now we can deal with the is even issue. So one thing I found really annoying about the automated tests is that you have a correct implementation of the data structure, but it's not exactly, yeah. So those are arguably overly specific or too fragile tests. Sure. Yeah. That's too bad. And it's like, did the tests care if the capacity is initially 1 versus 0? I mean, should they care? It's not like it's going to matter to the user. I guess if the user made like a bazillion little arrays, maybe they would care, but that's a pretty unlikely scenario. So num is what I want. Is it num or num traits? Actually, don't know. Let's go have a look. Docs.rs num. Looks like maybe num traits. Is even. Nope. So maybe it's num. No, it is not that. Oh, hang on. Maybe I got. Oh, that's my problem. I just went to the wrong place. There we go. There's num. Is even. Yep. Okay. So num's what I want. Cargo add num. And now we should have access to is even. Can I? import num integer. Haha. Oh, and then I don't need that closure because I could just say filter is even. And that didn't work. What? Oh, I have to do the whole thing. Num integer is even. Well, that's weird. Okay. But I won't find it otherwise. Integer is even. That's strange. Well, it could be that they just have very precise expectations about what the implementation is going to look like. But, well, I don't know. I'm sympathetic in the sense that I've probably done that because I've seen students like just go off and do some kind of crazy thing. And it's like, don't do that. Good. Okay. So let's commit that. I'll do all that at once. Introduce num crate and use dot is even. Boom. And then, so then the other pieces, what time? Well, do we want to get into that with 8 minutes left? I'm curious, what's the, so we should clean up the double-ended iterator and the fused iterator, but in 8 minutes. Oh, inclusive on both ends. Terrible idea. Come on. That's just bad news. So I'm with you 100% on that one. That yeah. The equal on the left, strictly less than on the right. That is beautiful. Definitely to be done. Okay. So pay for rooms. So she needs some help. A client wants to book a room for one night. He can pay at most, and he wants the highest quality room that he can afford. So basically, I mean, there's only 101 qualities. So you could. So this is very weird because going from part 1 to part 2 removed the need for the sorting. And now an obvious way to do this would be to reintroduce the sorting and then do binary search. But frankly, you could just do linear search because it's only 101 room score qualities. So it's not a long enough list to be kind of worth the trouble. Weird. Well, actually, given that it's 3:54 here, and the stream ends in 6 minutes, I think we don't do any of it because I can't run too long today because I should be upstairs, like actually visiting with my family and doing some things there. So I think instead I'm going to wrap up a little early. So the double-ended impl is just the other copied hello. Not that one. Yes, that one, right? So we would impl double-ended iterator here. So you're saying this is as simple as double-ended iterator. Ah, no, what have I done? No, I'm good. And then this needs to be next back. And then, oh, double-ended iterator. Well, yes, that doesn't work, does it? Okay, that's better. And this needs to be double-ended iterator here. And remove the item. So just this. And then do I not need, oh, not that? The type item. Oh, this. I see. Gotcha. And then this would be next back instead of next. And everything else is the same. Oh, that was easy. Oh, wow. Cool. Okay. So we're saying it's a double-ended iterator where the encapsulated iterator is a double-ended iterator. And we have to implement next back because that's what double-ended iterators give us. And if we found a none, we return none. Otherwise, we get the back item from the encapsulated iterator. And if that's a none, we return a none. If that's not a none, then, oh, if it's a wrapped none, that's right. So if this would be, we've reached the end. Here we found a value that is a wrapped none, so we set this to true and return none. And here we found a wrapped value, so we returned the wrapped value. And then fused iterator doesn't have any things to implement? Is it just impl fused iterator for process options? But we're going to need so we just need to copy the header essentially. So I'm going to need this part and I'm going to need this part and I'm going to need the where. Is it literally that? Change this to fused iterator. Wow. Okay. That was easy. And fused iterator continues to yield none when exhausted. Okay, so there's a default implementation that just continues to return none for you. And so you just have to say you want to use that feature and that it works. Huh. Cool. Well, that was easy. Okay. And we're at 3:59. So zippity doo dah. Let me commit. Implement double-ended iterator and fused iterator for process options. Oh yeah, the comments were completely wrong. adds these features, which is nice, but the comments are a mess and need to be cleaned up. I'll come back and amend that commit. I'll fix the comments and amend that commit. But I should take off now. So let's see what. Come back here. You come over here. So tomorrow, Sunday, 25 May. See, you were completely right. Frequently, you have said things would be fast, and they were not. But in this case, you were spot on. CDT UTC -5. So are Eustace in particular, are you up for continuing the readmes tomorrow? Because if you are, that would be my inclination, I think. But if you're not available, cool. That's great. Then we'll do that. And then, not clear, next weekend, I'm going to miss one day. Probably Saturday. Yeah, welcome to computer science. We're all bad at underestimating the time stuff takes. It's a very human problem. So I'll probably miss Saturday's stream a week from today because I'll probably be driving home. I had been thinking I'd wait until Tuesday and then I'd be able to stream from here next weekend, but things have changed some, and I think I'm going to probably be driving home on Saturday. And so good luck with your weird growth behavior ring buffer then. But I'll see everybody tomorrow, and we can do readme stuff on Unhindered EC again. Oh, of course not, Vincent. That would require having thought and made decisions. Dinner sounds like a great idea. I do need to work on that. I do wish to work on whatever is the animation tool that Manim. I want to actually learn Manim, and I think that would make sense in a separate stream. So there's that to be done. But right now, I kind of get all the gardens sorted out and planted and get this trip done, and then I'll think about things. So I haven't ignored that question, except for I've pretty much ignored that question. It has been rattling around in the back of my head, but I haven't gotten anywhere. We are very lucky to have space for a nice garden, and my sister's got an amazing space for a garden. Yeah, I was actually helping her get some plants in earlier today before the stream, and I'll probably do some more of that later today. But right now, I need to go. I will talk to you later. Goodbye. Find the right place to go.